Hello, my Resin-Nettes. Thank you for being here, and I do appreciate it. You have no idea. Now, what we're doing today is the mini shakers, but I wanted to show you what I'll be using for this, so that you can familiarize yourself with it. Some of you might have the tools already, others might not. You know, so it depends on you guys, but it's great to excuse my arm. It's great to go ahead and experiment with these things. So I experimented with this for a little while, and it's to me it's like getting better and better and better. This is the thing though. Big difference between the UV resin and the epoxy resin. Big difference. So make sure that you check the description below. It does have a little tail in there. So let's proceed now. As you know, I will be using the little lamp. Oh, I have to push it because, and things will probably be done on this end because it's connected and it just will not, it's short. The cord is short. And most likely I'll be using my heat gun, okay? But in introducing you to what I'm using, or what I'll be using today to help me with all of this, and of course I want to say welcome to Cedral's Emporium, okay? This is the disaster station. But these are the items that I will be using. So a possibility now, like I said, because it depends. I've noticed certain things as you go along that, like for instance, the UV resin, when you're using it, it usually needs a lot of sanding compared to the epoxy. But we're learning now only of UV resin. You know, so I learned from you, you learn from me. What can I tell you? So to sand, I use this because it tells you step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, whatever. So I use this. This is the baby oil. Of course, the toothpick. This is the picker-upper, the bead picker-upper. I use the curved scissor. I don't know if you could tell. See, it's a curved scissor. And I use straight scissor. Get yourself really good small scissors, because I've noticed that even though I've had these for a long time, they're starting to lose their, but of course they need cleaning, Cedral, they need cleaning, but they're starting to lose their, they're getting dull, you know what I'm saying? So get yourself some real good small scissors. This is I use this for measuring, but not necessarily with the UV. This because it's a little mini drill, okay, used for to connect anything on the charms. I do, or like little screws to put on the charms. I do use these here. I love the wood, using the wood, but sometimes wood, as much as I love it, I really do, because I love using these little tiny, these little skinny ones instead of the thick ones. I use the thick ones, as I said before, to scrape. That's what I use it for. But these are marvelous for stirring. I like to use this for stirring, and this for picking up your beads or embellishments. And of course this one to pop bubbles or do whatever. But I like using those. I have gained a love for this particular tweezer, so I use this one. I do use especially these brushes, especially on the UV resin. For some reason you need to cover some spaces, and so depending on the depth of the circular, I use either the very small one, you know, thin one here, or the one that's a little wider here. So that's that. I love this instrument for popping or stirring. I could use it for both. I use this also for the beads, embellishments, and for stirring. Plastic is great to stir with. I want to tell you, number one, plastic, if you can get yourself some circular or tubular plastic, not straws because they'll create bubbles, but it has to be like solid plastic. That would be the best thing. Of course, Q-tips for cleaning. I use the X-Acto knife to scrape off edges that might have resin, and I use this for measuring and for stirring. This is plastic, so I use it for measuring and for stirring. This is the mold that we're using today. This is the thing. This poor mold, I have been using it over and over and over and over again. And after a while, the molds get not only yellowish, but they start peeling on their own. I have that issue right here. Let me see if you can see it. I don't know if you can see it. Where's my little light? Here it is. So let's see if you can see it. It's right here. Look how it's chipped on its own. And that's from using it over and over and over again. Whenever you do any project with UV resin or even epoxy, always have a handy mold near you, or little molds near you in case you have extra resin that you don't know what to do with. So just use the little. I use this also as an extra, and then I make the little tiny pyramids from it. Okay, so that with the extra resin. So that's that. Now, so let's get this going here so that we can get together what we need. Now, let me see. Let me just take this out of here, because we could use this, but not immediately. So let me put all my little goodies right here for now. And let me see if I can get a couple more of these. And I will try my best to work in this area so that you could see it, okay? I am so sorry. I'm working with a tablet, and this shit doesn't move in the direction that you want it to move to. So that's that. Where's the other little? Where did I put it now? Here it is. Okay. Now the reason I have the circular, that I use this, and it's really wonderful to use, is because I use this little template. I don't know if you could see it, where it has those little circulars that go onto the mold once it's set up. So I'll leave this here so I could actually see it, or I'll just cut a piece now so that we can have it at the ready. So excuse my hands if they're going across. Everything looks magnified when you're watching it on video. I'm telling you, freaking magnified. So let me just tell you first the little history of this, okay? Because, well, not history, but the experimentation part of it. So My first attempt, my very first attempt, came out like this with the UV resin. Now, I'm telling you, it's a piece of shit, okay? So, it really is. I mean, it like curved on its own, okay? So it's like you have to watch it. It's not even sticky, it's hard, but oh my gosh, it's fucked up. And the only thing that I used on this was the mirror. This is the mirror for polish, you know, for nail polish. I used the mirror powder, and I used very little, which is what you see as a effervescent. Let me see if you can see it. You see that effervescent, that beautiful kind of opal eyes or opal, oh, whatever, shiny shit. Okay, so that's why I used very little of the mirror powder. But even using that as the only embellishment, it just came out shitty. And what it did was it went ahead. Did you see the cat right here? Look how terrible that cat came out. Do you see the outline of the actual plastic? I mean, it's just terrible. Compared to, I'm going to show you another one, a surprising one. Compared to this. Okay? So, when I saw that, I said, this is like bad news, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So, I kept experimenting with it. And then, I went ahead and I made 2 of them. Of course, they're fucked up. I made 2 of them, one with the liquid and one without. And I found out that when you make them with the UV resin, you can't put, like, let's say this design in it. You're better off waiting till you do your complete pendant, and then right before you're going to put the last layer of resin, then you put your little design or letters or rhinestones, whatever it is that you want to put on there. That I found that out. So this is the big difference I'm going to show you. You see how chunky this is? This is UV resin. It takes more work. It honestly takes more work with the UV resin than it does with epoxy. Now, this does not look completely finished. I mean, it doesn't. I don't care what anyone says. It doesn't look finished, okay? Even though it's supposed to be finished. Let me put the light a little brighter. It's supposed to be finished, okay? So you can see the floating little embellishments. Now this was done with UV resin. This one was done with epoxy. And as you can see, it's lovely. It really is lovely. This one was done with epoxy. And of course, it also, let me see if I can show it to you, it floats. But this one looks finished with epoxy. So that's what I'm trying to tell you about the difference. With UV resin, you really and truly have to practice on your own and see what is better for you. Okay, I don't like wasting resin. This is why I say that the epoxy, with the epoxy, I don't, what do you call it, waste. Let me see if you can see it there, like this. You don't waste resin. But with the UV, just be prepared to end up wasting a little bit of resin, okay? Oh, which way? This way. Sorry, I have to do a 180 degree with my head. Okay, so I wanted to show you the other one that I made right after that or before that. This is also made with resin. Yeah. And this one that I'm going to show you is also done with resin. No, it wasn't. This one was done with epoxy. And this one was done with epoxy. Now, this is like one of my favorites at the because from the beginning. Okay, this one, sorry if I scared you. This one, it says the power. This one was done with epoxy and no liquid on the inside. Being that blue is my favorite color, that's what I used, you know. But there's no liquid on the inside. I deliberately did that with no liquid on the inside. And then the ones here that I'm showing you that are with epoxy, I just, to me they were like the good experiment, the good ones, you know, like this one here also. And this one does not have liquid, you know. This one does not have liquid. And so I do not put glitter in these because I'm going to show you what happens with the glitters and the little tiny beads. Let me see if I have it here. They get stuck. You see? The little ones, the little tiny glitter and beads, they get stuck. This one doesn't have any liquid. Again, I deliberately did this one without any liquid. So this one I did with the liquid, but and I like it. I really do. You know, but it's like I said, when you put a glitter. Oh, excuse me. When you put glitter, it really messes it up. And the glitter sticks to whatever you're using. This one is a good example. I hope you could see it. This one here, because the glitter, see, it sticks to the paint in the front and to the paint in the back. And then the stuff has a hard time moving around because the glitter is preventing it from moving around, you know? So don't put any glitter in there, man. You know, if you're doing the other shakers, the large ones, that's a different story. But when you're doing but these little ones, don't do it. I want to see you. I want to give you this over here so you could see this. This is a really great example. Now, don't know if you could see the glitter attached. Do you see it attached? I mean, it attaches itself. This one, of course, does not have liquid in it. So everything attaches to it, you know? And even when I was banging it to make, even banging it, look, the glitter is still there. You know, it won't come out. It just won't move. It won't move. So anyway, this one is a royal F up, man. This one right here. Oh my goodness. I had a this was my first one putting the liquid in, as a matter of fact. You know, this one here. And so I made a huge mistake, and what I learned from it, though, as you could see, let me see if this could. See the liquid in it, but this was my first one with the liquid. And what happened is I learned my lesson pretty quick. Yes. Okay, the this little majigga right here that I use should be in the back. Or if you're going to put it in the front and you puncture it, and you puncture the darn thing, make sure you put some kind of an embellishment on it, like a bead or a rhinestone, something to cover it. So what happened was I went ahead, and I don't know if you could see this, but there's like a little knot here, and it's from the needle, actually from this here. And so, I mean, it's screwed up in that aspect. So I'm gonna have to put a little rhinestone there that's gonna look like somebody's gonna look at it and say, what the fuck? I mean, why is that there? Okay, but anyway, and then this is the back, and I made this with flakes. What I mean by that is like silver, this silver, bronze, and gold mixed flakes, and I think this is a beautiful effect on anything. It's just really cool. But like I said, I made the mistake of you know, of injecting this at the front when I should have done it in the back. You know, I should have just done it in the back, or placed this here, the circle. I placed the circle in the front instead of the back. So when you start these, just decide which side you want to be the front and which side you want to be the back. So I'm just going to give you a little example of how this is made, and you take it upon yourself. Now, if you make one, by all means, please, I'd love to see it. I really would love to see it. I'll include my email so that you can send me a pic of yours, you know, or no little videos, because my phone doesn't pick up videos. It always says 25 something something something. You can't have the video. So that's a disaster on its own. But anyway, welcome to my disaster station. So let me just cut the bullshit here, and let's go on to what I was intending to do, which is to show you how to do this. I will be wearing my mask. I wear the double mask. I wear this one and I wear this one on top of each other, and of course we'll be wearing my gloves. Okay, so with that said, let me just put my mask on. Give me a moment. And if I sound muffled rather, muzzled, yeah, muzzled like a dog. If I do, then please let me know so that I can find a different way to adjust the volume, or because it could be some element around me. You know, I have the fan going and the window open, but I also have the air conditioner on. I can't help it. The lights in here, they all heat up, and next thing you know, I'm sweating my ass. I don't want to go through that. You know, I don't want to have to go through that. So let's start, okay? You're going to get, I will put my gloves on in a few minutes. You're going to get your and excuse my arm wherever it goes, okay? You're going to get your mold, and what I do now, you don't have to do what I do, but I do this often because I take tape and I kind of like wrap it like this because it collects dust from the environment, and you don't want the dust on your work. You don't, especially if you have intentions of selling it. Who wants cat hair, dog hair, or air that's coming out from the air conditioner? You know, it has particles. So I tend to just do this, you know, pick up whatever, because you could see it sometimes, that overnight it picked up some crap, and you don't want to do that. So let me decide. Today I'm going to use Let's Resin. And I have to keep looking at the screen because I'm not sure that you guys can see. So here we go. The first thing that we're going to do, and the reason I do this is I do it with epoxy so that you can get a clear cover at the front. So this is the only reason why I do it. You don't have to. You can just mix your color and pour it in. It doesn't matter. It's up to, it's preference, you know, preference. But I like to leave a clear like window there before I actually start putting any colorant or like I said, the leaves, like in here, you know. So before I lay anything down, I like to put a base on it. But you don't have to. You can just, look, I did this one with no base. I did this one with no base. I didn't think I needed it. You know, I was experimenting and I figured, well, let me just try without it, okay? But for me, for some reason, I just like to put a base. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put one layer on here. Now I'm going to put my gloves on. I'm going to remove my jewelry. Excuse me. And I'm going to put this over here. Okay. So, what I do is I start turning it around so it can cover every area. And I always have to look close because my vision is not as good as some of you guys. You know, you guys have good vision, some of you. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I kind of made sure, you know, because you don't want bubbles, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of tap it a little bit. Sometimes, even going through this process, you still get bubbles, okay? You still get bubbles. And I'm just going to use my torch. So, for bubbles. So now, I'm going to put it here. I'm going to take, wow, this is going to break any day now because it fell like 4 times. Dang, dang, dang. And I have to hold it because it's like coming apart. It's just coming apart on its own. Whatever you do, like I told you guys, do not stare at that light. Do not stare at it. This is why I have a cover. Don't know if you see it. I have a cover here on Mama Ship because you know that goes right onto you, you know what I'm saying? And I should have put my gloves on. Okay, here we go. So I like to take the metal, where is it? Here we go. To see if it's hardened, you know what I'm saying? But I like the other one. Where is it? Where is it? Where do I have it here? Oh, here it is. Looks like a freaking brush. That's why I can't see it. Can't point it out. Okay, you see it's hard? Okay, now you can go ahead and put whatever it is that you want to put in there. So today, let's see what we can put in there, okay? So, we'll mix resin. We're going to do this simple, okay? So that, in other words, you can take it from there, okay? You can take it from wherever it is that I just leave you off with. Let me put my fucking gloves on. I'm going to smell like this crap all day, and people are going to wonder what the hell I have as a perfume. And it stinks. And it sticks to you, and it sticks for a long time. Even after you wash it with soap and water. Alright, so let's try on here some glow in the dark. Listen to this first. This product of glow in the dark, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing the way that it could, the way it's packed and the way it's made. Anyway, the glow in the dark, you're supposed to put the powder in first before you put any kind of resin or anything you're mixing it with. Okay? But once in a while, because I tested it, I'll put it after I put the resin in because it kind of looks like it does the same thing. The only difference is that when you put it in, into resin, it sort of like coagulates. So you have to stir it even more, okay, to make sure that it blends very well. Where the other way, it already is soaked. It gets soaked after you put the resin in, and it's easier to blend. But it does the same exact thing. So today, let's do purple, damn it. Or violet. Ooh, yeah, violet. So, this is the theory of this. The more you put in, the brighter it is. But this is the thing. We're working with small stuff, so I'm not going to put a half of a jar, you understand, inside of, now, let me close this, because not that it, there we go. Okay, so let's stir it up a little bit before I put glitter. So here we go. Don't know if you can see it, but I'm stirring it up now. And it looks mighty purple. Now, you could leave it just the way it is without putting any other embellishments, but I just like a little kick to it, you know what I'm saying? So let's put a little bit of a kick on it, just a little bit, not too much. Just a little bit. So I'm going to put, oh, excuse my, it's my chair. This chair is not the best, and I know it too, but I continue to have it. Anyway, I'll take a little tiny bit. You see that much? Not a lot. You know, the less you put on it, really, the better it is. But because again, this is small. It's not, you know, large. So the larger the mold or the project, the more shine